إلى الهند.
Good afternoon, I'm Shubhendu Ghosh. Welcome to Express News. In the next half an hour, crisp, non-stop news updates. Let's begin. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will deliver a keynote address at the India Idea Summit today. The theme for this year's India Idea Summit is Building a Better Future. The summit will witness discussions on areas including India-US cooperation and future of relation between the two countries in a post-pandemic world. The summit is being hosted by US-India Business Council. This year marks the 45th anniversary of the formation of the council. The virtual summit will feature high-level presence from Indian and US government policymakers, state-level officials and thought leaders from the business and society. The summit will witness discussions on areas including India-US cooperation, future of the relation between the two countries in a post-pandemic world. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will lay the foundation stone for Manipur water supply project on 23rd July 2020 through video conferencing. The Governor, Chief Minister of Manipur and his cabinet colleagues, MPs and MLAs are expected to join the program from Imphal. Government of India initiated JEEVAN mission to provide safe and adequate quantity drinking water to every rural household of the country by 2024 with the motto Har Ghar Jal. The program also implements source sustainability measures as mandatory elements such as recharge and reuse through grey water management, water conservation and rainwater harvesting. The Jal Jeevan mission is based on community approach to water, has extensive information, education, communication as key components of the mission. It looks to create Jan Andolan for water, thereby making it everyone's priority. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has congratulated nuclear scientists on achieving criticality of Kakrapar Atomic Power Plant 3. He also hailed the 700 megawatt reactor as a shining example of Make in India and a trailblazer for many such future achievements. In a tweet, Prime Minister said, "Congratulations to our nuclear scientists for achieving criticality of Kakrapar Atomic Power Plant 3. This indigenously designed 700 megawatt reactor is a shining example of Make in India and a trailblazer for many such future achievements." Union Home Minister Amit Shah also tweeted and said, "Big day in India's nuclear history as indigenously designed 700 megawatt Kakrapar Atomic Power Plant 3 in Gujarat achieved criticality. Nation salutes a scientist on this stellar achievement. New India is marching ahead to realize Prime Minister Modi's vision of Atmanirbhar Bharat." The newly elected members of Rajya Sabha were sworn in today. Rajya Sabha Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu administered the oath to these newly elected members. This is the first time that members of Rajya Sabha are sworn in the House despite the Parliament not being in session, and the decision has been taken to maintain social distancing. Rajasthan Assembly Speaker C.P. Joshi approaches Supreme Court against the High Court directive to defer till July 24th the disqualification proceedings against 19 dissident Congress MLAs, including sacked Deputy Chief Minister Sachin Pilot. The Speaker, in his plea filed through Advocate Sunil Fernandes, has said that disqualification process is part of the Assembly proceedings and hence the High Court could not have interfered by asking him to defer it till Friday. The Rajasthan High Court on Tuesday asked Assembly Speaker to defer action on disqualification notices sent to dissident Congress MLAs till 24th of July. The court will pass an appropriate order on the writ petition filed by Sachin Pilot and 18 other dissident MLAs on 24th July. The Enforcement Directorate raided the premises of Rajasthan Chief Minister Ashok Gehlot's brother today as part of countrywide raids in connection with the money laundering case linked to fertilizer scam. Searches are being conducted by the Central Probe Agency in at least 13 places in Rajasthan, West Bengal, Gujarat and Delhi. Searches are also being conducted at the premises of Agrasen Gehlot in Jodhpur, who is facing a ₹7 crore customs penalty in this alleged fertilizer case. Raids also being conducted at the residence of former MP Badridam Jakar. The ED has filed criminal case under Prevention of Money Laundering Act based on a Customs Department complaint and charge sheet in the alleged fertilizer scam case. The highest ever number of recoveries have been recorded in the last 24 hours. 28,472 patients of coronavirus have been cured and discharged in the last 24 hours. Over 7.5 lakh COVID patients have recovered in the country so far. The cumulative figure of recovered cases among COVID-19 patients to 7,53,049 as on date. The recovery rate improves to 63.13%. 19 states or union territories have registered higher than 63.13% recovery rate. Medical attention is being provided to all the 4,11,133 active COVID cases in hospitals and home isolation. The case fatality rate in the country continues to register a steady downfall. It has dropped to 2.40% as of now. India has one of the lowest case fatality rates in the world. 28,732 patients have died so far. In view of surge in COVID-19 cases, fresh lockdown restrictions are being imposed in many urban areas of Chhattisgarh, including capital Raipur and Birgaon Municipal Corporation areas from today till midnight of 28th July. In Raipur, Sarguja, Baloda Bazar districts, lockdown has been reimposed from today, while in the urban areas of Durg, Korba and Bilaspur districts, the new restrictions would come into effect from Thursday. In the wake of spurt in COVID-19 cases at several places, including in the state capital Raipur, state police conducted a flag march in Raipur to strictly enforce lockdown in the state. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu today unveiled the statue of Dr. V.R. Ambedkar at the premises of Comptroller and Auditor General of India. Vice President said that today CAG is following Baba Saheb's vision. The top brass of the Air Force is meeting today on the first day of the Air Force Commanders Conference. The three-day biennial conference was today inaugurated by Defence Minister Rajnath Singh. The theme of the conference is Indian Air Force in the next decade. Air Force Chief Air Chief Marshal R.K.S. Bhadoria also addressed the top commanders. Supreme Court has issued contempt notice to Advocate Prashant Bhushan in the case of alleged objectionable remarks against judges of the Supreme Court. In a tweet, Prashant Bhushan had alleged that previous 4 former Chief Justices of Supreme Court had weakened the Supreme Court. Taking cognizance of these comments, the court has initiated contempt proceedings of the court. The next hearing in the matter will be on August 5th. Delhi Heights witnessed fresh spell of rain lashing parts of the capital city and its adjoining areas. Temperature in the national capital also dropped to 27 degrees Celsius as a result of heavy downpour. The road under Minto Bridge in Delhi has been closed for commuters due to waterlogging. Delhi Traffic Police have also issued an advisory requesting people to use alternate routes. Assam flood situation remains unchanged as incessant rain in the past 3 days has slowed down the pace of improvement in the scenario. Flood claims 2 more lives. In Assam, flood-induced fatalities have reached 87. 26 people died due to landslide this year. In Assam, above 24 lakh people are still affected across 24 districts. 2,323 villages under 69 revenue circles. More than 1,10,000 hectares of cropland are submerged. 44,498 inmates are staying in 276 relief camps across the state. River Brahmaputra, along with the most of its tributaries in at least 10 districts, are above the danger mark. So far, more than 200 embankments, 168 numbers of bridge, culverts and above 1,600 roads got damaged due to floods in Assam this year. The deluge has also caused massive erosion across the state, due to which the state has lost a vast amount of its land area this year as well. In Bihar, the water levels of many rivers of the state has again started increasing. Met Department has issued warning of heavy rainfall and thunderstorm in over a dozen districts of heavy shower and thunder. As many as 16 people have lost their lives in lightning incidents during the past 24 hours in the state. Chief Minister Bihar Nitish Kumar has announced ex gratia of Rs 4 lakh each to the next of kin of the deceased. Himachal Pradesh is also witnessing massive rainfall since past 3 days, leading to mercury to drop by 2 to 3 degrees Celsius. Indian Met Department has issued low visibility alert in the state for the next couple of days. In Uttar Pradesh, the total area of proposed Ram Mandir under Sri Ram Janmabhoomi Tirth Kshetra in Ayodhya has been increased to 84,600 square feet. Earlier, the area of 37,590 square feet with 268.5 feet length, 148 feet width and 128 feet height was recorded. In another major success on anti-terror front, Jammu and Kashmir Police and Army's Thana Mandi-based 38 Rashtriya Rifles in Rajouri busted a terrorist hideout during the cordon and search operation in Manyal area of Thana Mandi Police Station jurisdiction. During the search operation in J&K, search party came across a hideout. From it recovered one pike rifle, one Chinese pistol, one local pistol, AK-47 magazines, 2 pistol magazines, 168 Pika rounds, 47 AK rounds, 4 pistol rounds and other ammunition, along with one antenna and a tape. Indian Air Force conducted trials of helicopter-launched Nag missile Helena on 15th and 16th July at RTR Balasore of Odisha. Trials of Helena, which is now named as Dhruv Shastra anti-tank guided missile, were carried out in direct and top attack mode without helicopter. The Supreme Court on Wednesday approved Uttar Pradesh government's draft notification for appointing former Apex Court Judge Justice retired B.S. Chauhan as chairman of 3-member inquiry commission on the killing of 8 policemen and the subsequent encounter killings of gangster Vikas Dubey and 5 of his alleged associates. The coronavirus has claimed the lives of over 6.16 lakh people worldwide, while more than 1.49 crore people have contracted the infection so far. US and Brazil remain worst affected in terms of COVID-19 infections and fatalities. The US has so far recorded over 39.02 lakh cases and over 1.42 lakh casualties. And Brazil has recorded over 21.59 lakh infections and over 81,487 deaths. US and Brazil are followed by UK with over 45,500 fatalities, further followed by Mexico, Italy, France and Spain. US President Donald Trump encouraged Americans to wear a mask if they cannot maintain social distancing. President Donald Trump has linked wearing a face mask to being patriotic. He also urged young Americans to avoid crowded bars where the virus could spread. People lined up at coronavirus testing facilities in California and Texas on Tuesday as cases and deaths continue to rise. In El Paso, Texas, lines of cars formed at 2 large drive-through test sites. Over 4,000 people lost their lives in Texas, while over 3.41 lakh people are infected from coronavirus. Meanwhile, in Northern California, long lines were formed at 2 walk-up testing sites in Santa Clara County, south of San Francisco. The facilities are providing tests free of charge without the need for an appointment for referral from a doctor. California on Tuesday became the second US state after New York to report more than 400,000 COVID-19 cases. At least 16 states have reported record levels of currently hospitalized COVID-19 patients in July, and cases have set single-day records in 32 states this month. Californians are getting their lockdown law extended to outdoors from Tuesday in accordance with the new protocols introduced by Governor Gavin Newsom. In California, Governor said that hair salon and barber shops could offer services outdoors during COVID-19 pandemic. A commission linked to Organization of American States has asked Brazil's government to take steps to protect indigenous Yanomami and Yekuana peoples from the spreading coronavirus pandemic. In a statement, entity's Inter-American Commission on Human Rights gave government 15 days to outline what measures it has taken, such as provision of adequate health care to protect the indigenous people's livelihoods. Earlier this month, Brazilian Supreme Court also ruled that Brazil must take emergency measures to protect its indigenous communities from novel coronavirus. In Mexico, COVID-19 testing is being done in large scale. Mexico City barrios are under red alert for coronavirus infection cases rise. The scheme has been rolled out in 32 suburbs in the capital that have slipped back into red alert, with families turning out to get themselves tested. Mexico's death toll for the pandemic has crossed the 40,000 mark. US Secretary of State Mike Pompeo has said that Communist Party of China has been exploiting the COVID pandemic to further its own interests globally. After meeting the UK Foreign Minister Dominic Raab, Mike Pompeo said that US stands with UK in the fight against COVID. US Secretary of State used his visit to London to outline a vision for global coalition to counter the communist regime. He also mentioned the aggressive and Spanish policy of the China regime from South China Sea to India. The US State Secretary also called the world to work together to ensure that every country, including China, behaves in the international system in ways that are appropriate, consistent with the international order. Casting China as an aggressor, Pompeo said that it had made illegal maritime claims, bullied Himalayan countries, covered up coronavirus outbreak and exploited it to further its own interest in a disgraceful way. Senior Pakistani journalist Untitled Chapter, who was allegedly abducted from Islamabad, was released late night near Fateh Jung, where he was received by his brother and a friend. Untitled Chapter, who's long criticized the military and judicial establishment, was freed after uniformed men had snatched him off Islamabad street in broad daylight. Untitled Chapter had been bundled into the back of a car outside a school where he had come to see his wife. All 13 people taken hostage on a bus in western Ukraine have been freed unharmed on Tuesday after President Volodymyr Zelensky spoke on phone with the hostage taker and agreed to his demand to endorse a 2005 animal rights documentary. The suspect, identified as 44-year-old Maxim Kevosh, who seized the bus in the city of Lipsk, said he was armed with guns and explosives. The European Union has moved on from its messy handling of the Eurozone debt crisis after intense talks. Bloc's leader agreed at dawn on Tuesday on a €750 billion stimulus plan backed by common funds to help countries fight the economic impact of the pandemic. The Kremlin said Russia has never interfered in another country's electoral process, commenting on a report by British Parliament's Intelligence and Security Committee that was leaked on Tuesday. The report on Russian influence in politics published by political website Guido Fox said that there had been credible open-source commentary suggesting that Russia undertook influence campaigns in relation to Scottish independence referendum in 2014. After sporting events and training sessions were suspended for several months, Brazilian high-performance athletes resumed their training under strict biosecurity measures. The athletes who had secured a place for Tokyo Olympics or are close to qualifying were the first to return to the training centres after Brazil's Olympic Committee reopened training centres in Rio de Janeiro amidst the coronavirus pandemic. And Liverpool is set to face Chelsea in the final home game of the season. If they win, they will receive their first league trophy in 30 years. Liverpool fans have been urged by police and Jurgen Klopp to not gather in large crowds outside of Anfield or in the city centre as the authorities try to prevent another spike in COVID cases. Sports Authority of India has extended the contract of 32 foreign coaches in 11 disciplines till September 30th, 2021. The contracts of many of the coaches were to end in September this year. Decision was taken to ensure that athletes bound for Tokyo Olympics, which had been postponed by a year, can retain continuity in their training with the same coaches. Union Sports Minister Kiran Rijiju said that postponement of Tokyo Olympics by a year makes it imperative that the same coaches be retained so that athletes are not disadvantaged in any manner. And with that, we conclude this edition of Express News. News and updates continue after a short break. Namaskar.